Okay, what to do with our explorer? Well, let's just have him explore a little bit. Let's keep in mind this mana core is kind of around. Don't want to run into just yet. This explorer we were sending towards the resource pod down here. Keep going. And that's it for that turn. And again, I don't want to get too close to this mana core just yet. Let me come back, swing back around this way. And for him, we're headed towards that resource pod. Okay, shows us a little bit more of this area down here. And we've got some more coastline. 6 turns to our trade depot. And our worker, he's got 4 more turns to construct the farm. Let's go on to our next turn. And okay, we got some more aliens that have showed up. Alien wolf beetles. Now, I'm still going to go ahead and chance getting the resource pod. We should be at least be more than 1 square away from these guys. Hopefully they're not going to act... Well, no, I'm wrong on that because we can only move 1. What I might do here... Nope, can't do that either. I was thinking about embarking, but we have not yet researched the technology that allows us to go on water just yet. So, let's go ahead and chance it. I mean, if you wanted to move back away from these guys to be extra cautious, that would be okay. But I think I'm going to take the chance to try to get over to the resource pod without him attacking me. I could very well lose him, though. We'll find out on the next turn. And this mana core is still kind of hanging around. Let's kind of investigate this area down here a little bit. And another alien wolf beetle has showed up. So apparently we've got some aliens over to the west of our capital here. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Alright, let's go to the next turn, and I'm going to want to keep an eye on this guy to see whether or not he gets killed by this alien wolf beetle or not. And no, they left us alone. Unfortunately, instead of going the other way, he went 1 step closer to the resource pod. But we'll deal with that, I guess. Okay, no signs of aliens at this point. Okay, there they are. Let's back away a little bit. I really want this resource pod bad. Again, not only because it contains something good, but it's the next step in this Gifts from Home quest. So I'm going to chance it again. Okay, the Gifts from Home quest is complete. And bang, we got 35 science out of it. And because we got 35 science worth of resources finished research among a handful of people,
we're gonna make a fortune here.
So this should reveal petroleum on the map, as well as gives us the chance to build petroleum wells. It also gives us the chance to build a laboratory, which will help with our science, and the recycler, which will help with our production. And from the resource pod itself, we got 18 science out of that also. So yeah, we just got a big influx of science all in 1 turn. Enough to finish off the tech we were working on a lot quicker. So that's the magic of getting those extra bonuses from things like resource pods and quests. This is just confirmation of those 2 things, and we can now decide what to work on next. And again, the ones we can work on are the ones that are in purple. You can see we have a few extra options, like organics and biology. But look how many turns that would take, 111, compared to some of these other choices, like physics, that we can complete in 14 turns. We're doing good science-wise. We're doing good energy-wise. So I'm not going to listen to my science and economic advisors at this point. I think at this point what I would like to do is, well, even though I said I'm not going to listen to my science advisor, more science is always good. And again, I'm just kind of looking through here through the different options of what can be built from these different techs. The planetary survey might be nice because that would allow us to embark units. That explorer that was going after that resource pod where the alien was, I couldn't send him out onto the sea simply because I didn't have this tech already built. And you know, we're going to need to get to this at some point anyway, so let's go ahead and do that one for now. It'll give us the chance to actually send units out onto the ocean instead of restricting them just to the land. And I think that's pretty much for that turn. And again, this explorer here is just kind of exploring some land that are not just yet. Looks like there's a down here. And for him, since he got the resource pod, there's not much else for him to explore over in this area. You can see the coastline is kind of coming down here. I might try to send him over to maybe this area and check things out. I'm going to let him see if he can swim by the swift without a problem here. And let's go into our next turn. Somebody else is there. Ming of the Pan-Asian Cooperative. Hello. Okay, and we're just going, this is our explorer, let's just explore a little bit. Oh good, another resource pod. And I'm guessing it should be easy to get to. And it looks like our worker is done building his farm. So let's send him to improve this area with the fiber here. And he'll go ahead and construct the plantation there. For this explorer, we're going to send him over towards this area over here, this fog of war. Let's find in that area. New updates in the quest log. A Seige Worm. Wants us to kill a Seige Worm. Usually you don't see that until the Seige Worm shows up. And there he is, this guy right here. He is not a fun guy to deal with. He's pretty powerful. He can take units and pretty much down with one shot. I'm leery about him being so close to my worker. I'm probably going to see what he does next turn, but if he starts towards my worker, I'm probably going to bring my worker back to the city for extra protection. But we'll see where he goes. And let's go ahead and check that next turn.
What's ours is yours.
And Hutton wants to go with cooperation agreement. Sure. Why not? Been cool so far. So. Basically, the other civs are going to ask you for cooperation agreements, which gives you extra things you can deal with them on. Not that there's anything specific we want to deal just yet, but it also puts you on friendlier relations with the other civilizations, which will go a long way, especially if you're playing the non-military way of civ. Okay, this explorer here, we're hoping to get to this resource pod. Unfortunately, this Manicore decided to show up on the doorstep, so I think what we'll kind of do is just get him within one space in the resource pod, and hopefully the Manicore will go away. This explorer here is just going to check out this and time for our next turn, but I kind of want to keep my eye on the Seige Worm to see what he's going to do. He doesn't come closer.
What's ours is yours. for a price.
Hatama wants to go with open borders. This will allow him to travel over your territory as well as you travel over his territory. I don't have any need to do that right now, and to tell you the truth, I don't like opening up my territory for anybody, just as a way to protect things even more. So I'm going to refuse on that. I think he'll be too upset. And ouch. Wow, not only do we have one Seige Worm to contend with, we have two. But I was worried about one step closer to our worker. I'm worried he's going to try to kill that worker off. So at this point I'm going to tell this worker to let's hold off on finishing that plantation and head on back to the city because we got some Seige Worms on the way that protect you from them. So I'm going to go ahead and make him active. Make him active just by clicking on him, clicking on the icon. And now I'm back to the city. The city's got some extra protection on it that the worker out in the open didn't have. Again, this number just above the city tells you the strength of the city. And once the Seige Worm gets closer, we can actually take some range shots at the Seige Worm, as long as he gets within 2 hexes of our city. So he's pretty close. He's 3 hexes away. If he gets into one of these squares here, we can actually start taking shots at him. Seige Worms are not fun to deal with. They're powerful units. So be so cautious when dealing with them. At least that's my recommendation. This explorer here, we want him to get the bonus out of this resource pod. And we got 50 energy. Alright. So we got 335 total. We could probably have enough to build something in our city if we wish. Look at that momentarily. For now, we got to decide what to do with him next. Let's just have him move west more and explore that area out there. This explorer here, let's just have him search the area a little bit. And we have our next decision to make as far as what we want to build in our capital. Okay, so we built a trade depot, and by doing that, that now made the trade convoy available to us, which is the unit we need to trade with other civs and outposts for extra bonuses. It's pretty powerful in this game. So at this point, out of all of the things we can work on, and we've already reviewed a good portion of them. The recycler, I don't think we saw that yet, but it does give us 2 extra production in our city, which is good. But since trade convoys, trade routes are so powerful in this game, I'm either going to go with that or possibly with the Colonist for our second city. One thing to note about the Colonist is if we decided to build him or her, it would actually stop growth of your city. Looking at our city growth right now, we're at a population level of 4. We only have 1 turn before we go up to a population level of 5. So if we started building the Colonist, we would not go up to level 5 for at least 17 turns, which is the amount of time it would take to build the Colonist. So I'm definitely not going to start off on him. I think for now let's just go with the trade convoy. That's going to be in 8 turns, and our population level will increase on the very next turn. Why do I care that the population level increases? Well, one, it represents the growth of your city. And secondly, looking at the squares that are being worked on by your city, and that's represented by these little green guys here. So for instance, this green guy here is collecting 2 food and 2 energy for your city. Same with this guy. So adding all of these 4 in particular up. That's where you get these numbers from. And that's what your city is currently producing. So the reason there's 4 of them that are lit up is because you have a population of 4. Once your city grows to a population of 5, then there will actually be one other square here. It could be this one here, or this one down here, or this one here, that will all of a sudden also have their green guy lit up in them. And there, the yield from that particular square will add into that. So again, we're working 4 squares in our city here, represented by the green guys. But on the very next turn, we're going to population 5. So when I go back here, you'll see there's actually 5 of these that have the green guys and are adding those particular yields to our production. I know that's a lot to throw at you all at once, but just realize that the extra population means your city will be able to build extra science, extra energy, extra production, extra food. It just helps things overall for your civilization as a whole. Now, before we go on to the next turn, I was talking about how we now have enough energy to possibly buy something. So let's go back to Carbrust and see what things are available for us to buy. We have the Old Earth Relic for extra culture, the Recycler for extra production. We have the Soldier, we have an Explorer, and we have the Trade Convoy. So we can purchase any of those right now, and they'll be available for us the very next turn. I would say we don't need any of those desperately at the moment. I might want to hold some money in reserve just in case we do need something on an emergency basis. As an example, we know that we've got a Seige Worm, or 2 Seige Worms that are close to us. If both of us start coming in towards our city, he can create quite a bit of havoc for us. So that might be a case where I might want to build a soldier on an emergency basis to help kill a Seige Worm off. So, but I want to see what that Seige Worm does first before we go ahead and try anything further. So let's go on to our next turn. And you can see Carbrust has grown to level 5 right now. So let's go back there, and now you'll see there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these hexes that are contributing to what our city is producing. So these numbers went up with that 5th person. Specifically, I think it was this square that was chosen. Now you can actually manually pick which squares can be chosen, but the game does pretty good of automatically doing it for us too. So by having that 5th population show up, we now have an extra food, an extra unit of production, and 2 extra bits of energy that have been added to what our city is actually producing. So population is good. And as far as the Seige Worms are concerned, I don't see the second one around, but it looks like the first one has moved out a little bit, which is good. We want him to go away. And our Explorer, he's just exploring this area over here. Do that a little bit further. We've hit the coast over there. This unit here, do I want him to end his turn in miasma? I'm going to say no. I'm just going to park him there for now. And our worker unit, I don't want to send him out just yet till this guy, this Seige Worm, goes away. So we'll just park him also. And okay, let's here see what we got down here. And just exploring some more. Looks like there's a beetle over here we need to avoid. Let's go around this canyon. And the Seige Worm is making his way back and forth from our city to our city, so let's hold our worker another turn still at least. Since this explorer over here is kind of examining this area, I'm going to actually move this first explorer. I'm going to move him back up towards this way. maybe see what's up here. And this guy can continue to kind of examine this area down here. Where'd the Seige Worm go? Did he go away finally? No, he's right there. And he's coming back even closer to our city. Okay, we have a quest that got updated. And this is basically telling us we have a quest decision regarding our trade depot. So let's see what that's about. What do we want to do with the surplus of resources, especially with our trade depot now built? Do we want our surplus to give us one production, or do we want our trade depots to give us one energy? So basically, do we want more production or more energy? We're doing okay with energy right now, so extra production to help build things quicker is always good. So, being that we have a trade depot in our capital city, we should be generating some extra more production to help build things even quicker. Okay, now looking at this, you'll notice there's this big red icon now here under our capital. What that means is we now have some enemy that's close enough to us that we can actually attack him. And since we want to kind of deter this Seige Worm away, I'm going to go ahead and attack him. And let's go back there and see what it did. Didn't do much. See that he is still showing as a green level. As we attack him more and more, we're hoping that it gets down to a yellow level, finally to a red level, and finally is killed. But you can see just by the one attack and the fact that his health level, which is the screen bar just to the right of the unit icon, it hardly got touched. So see how powerful, how much defensive strength he actually has. So, that's the quest we just completed. And let's go back to our explorer units. Let's see what's up here. And let's see what's over this way. And let's send our worker back into the city to be protected. Let's go ahead and see what happens on our next turn here. Okay, Kavatha is looking to get a cooperation agreement. Sure, we've been cool something, so why not? Okay, we do see here we've got a notification of an alien detected rust, and that's that Seige Worm who just keeps hanging out here. So let's take another pot shot at him. And you can see we gave him 25 damage. And you can see his icon, the health level next to it, is now gone down to yellow. So we're making progress against him. It's going to take a while, but we're making some progress. Have to be mindful of this manticore here, but so far the aliens, other than the Seige Worm, haven't really been problematic to us just yet. Today, another resource pod. Excellent. And it looks like it'll be easy to get to. So, excellent. Okay, looks like we have another virtue we can develop. Virtues are always good. Our choices are to get 50 extra experience points from combat. We don't have any military units just yet. And I still don't have any strong impetus to build any. Other than maybe the Seige Worm, but we might be able to take care of them just with the city strike itself. The other things we have are to gain a free worker unit. That's always good, especially if we're going to be building our next colonist pretty soon. There's 30% speed toward outpost growth, which once we send our second colonist out, he's going to create an outpost. This will make it a city quicker than if we didn't choose that. We can earn 30 extra science for finishing expeditions. Here, each city tile generates 0.25 culture for every population. Or we can do plus 10 production towards buildings. Again, it's all personal preference. I'm going to choose this one simply because I am planning to choose a colonist relatively soon for our second city. So it'll be good to have that. Another thing that does is it will actually give us the chance to get our pre-colonist unit on the next time we get to choose a virtue. So I'm going to go ahead and choose that for now. And our worker unit, since we still have this Seige Worms, just keep him parked. And let's go on to our next turn. And Kavtha wants to do some open borders. I'm going to hold off on that for now. I don't see any need for it. Looks like somebody else is joining us. This is going to be the ARC.
How may the corporation serve you?
Greetings. Okay. Our explorer is just checking things out over here. You're going towards this resource pod. Let's see what it has. Extra energy. Extra energy is good. Still got this Seige Worm to contend with. Let's take another plunge. Okay, now he's down to the red level. So we're getting there. If I'm not mistaken, I think we have a quest also. Yes, worm killing. Once we kill him off, we'll get some bonus from the quest. So, it's all taken care of, and we got a quest decision. Several new ventures wish to establish their operation near our territory. So there's basically two different outposts that are competing to be built close to us. Which one would we rather trade with? The one that would give us 4 energy a turn, or the one that would give us 3 food and 3 culture? You know, there's very few bonuses that provide culture compared to the ones that provide for energy, so I'm actually going to choose the one that gives us that extra culture, which is going to be the Church of Dawn's Light. So let's go ahead and choose them. And they go ahead and they build their outpost just to the southwest of us, so not too bad. I am 1 turn away from producing a trade convoy. There's a very good chance I'm going to use that trade convoy to trade with the Church of Dawn's Light to take advantage of getting that extra culture. That'll be next turn. Oh, looks like, okay, that's just a confirmation of the quest we just completed. Let's do 1 more turn in this session. Let's see what happens.
All planets possess
Discover
inherent
planetary
value,
survey,
and establishing
which will
the
give us the
exact
chance
dollar
to
value of
embark
the property
our
should
units
be
onto
a
the ocean
priority.
now, which is good. This guy is just exploring the area, and he found a resource pod. Should be able to get to that within the next few turns. This guy here is just kind of exploring this area down here. Don't want to send my worker out yet, but it looks like we can take another pot shot at this. Okay, close. We almost got him. Probably next turn if he stays by us. And I'm feeling confident I can get him the next turn, so I think I'm actually going to send the worker back out to finish that plantation off at this point. And here's our trade convoy, our very first trade convoy. So who do we want to trade with? This button down here will show us our choices. And we've got 2 different outposts. Fort Barca, which would give us 2 production and 2 energy. Or the Church of Dawn's Light, which would give us 1 food and 3 culture. I like the culture. Culture is good for getting our next virtue. Although production and energy is good also. But I think we're going to go ahead and we need to decide our next thing to build in our city. And for here, I am going You know, I'm kind of wanting culture even more so, which the Old Earth relic would provide, and it only takes 4 turns to do that. So let's go ahead and do the Old Earth relic. And we need to decide on our next research. And again, you can see different choices are the ones in purple. Some of them will take a long time, such as terraforming takes 95 turns, whereas there's others that take a lot less, like engineering that's only 12 turns. Decisions. I think our advisor is recommending physics. Plus, that gives us the Ranger, which is one of the first ranged units you can build in the game. Let's go ahead and go with that, I think. And on that note, I am going to call this session pause for now, and we'll be back shortly for the 3rd session. I hope you're enjoying this so far. Just a quick recap. We examined resource pods and got quite a few bonuses from a number of those. We established trading by building a trade depot and then subsequently a trade convoy, which is now trading with the Church of Dawn's Light outpost. We examined virtues a little bit. We've had our first Seige Worm to contend with, so I hope you learned quite a few things in this particular video, and hope to see you on the next one.